The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Jess De Los Santos. The central bank is pushing for stricter measures against currency counterfeiting. This as ATMs are claimed to be dispensing fake banknotes to customers. Shaila Francisco with the details.
Karen, not her real name, was forced to buy her own fake money detector after falling victim to a counterfeit bill. Just last week, she was informed by a bank that a 1,000 peso bill from her car loan payment was fake. She was given a counterfeit receipt and is now planning to report it to the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas.
Baka makulong din po ako. Siyempre, natatakot din po ako kasi sabi ko nga po sa tanda ko pong ito, never pa po akong napeke sa pera.
Part of the money came from Karen's friend, who said it came straight from an ATM.
Yan po naniniwala na peke. Galing sa ATM, kung winidraw ko, alam ko naman nalolokohin namin sa katagal na namin kaibigan yun.
The bank that owns the machine is now looking into the matter. Other ATM users have also expressed their concerns over the incident.
Yung may mga pera na nabubogos, di ba? Kaya pag nag-withdraw na po ako ay tinitingnan ko rin mabuti kung para iwas.
Hindi natin dapat maranasan yun kasi sa kanila nga nanggagaling yung pera eh. So bakit tayo dapat yung mag-hassle? Dapat silang mag-hassle doon.
The BSP for its part is reminding the public to always check banknotes through the feel, look, tilt approach. A bill is legit if one can feel that a security paper is used and prints are embossed. One can also look for a watermark, scattered security fibers, asymmetrical serial numbers, and the word Filipino in baybayin. Lastly, tilted to see the movements of the colors and design bearing the denomination value and the word BSP. Colors of the embossed denomination value and the pearl placed on the side should also change. Holders of a suspected counterfeit banknote are advised to immediately report it to the bank that owns the machine. The fake bill should be replaced if proven that it came from the ATM. Banks will also be held liable if they fail to observe protection measures for their clients.
ATM services are part of core banking function of deposit taking, and banks are bound by law to exercise the highest degree of diligence.
The BSP is now looking at tighter measures for currency operations. Currently, production of counterfeit money carries a jail sentence of at least 12 years and a maximum fine of 2 million pesos. Shaila Francisco, we are One News.
The FDA has approved the emergency use of another brand of the antiviral molnupiravir drug. The product called Oxilto is the third molnupiravir brand that has been granted an EUA by the agency. German Quality Pharma will supply the drug to the country, but it will not be commercially available. Only the DOH and the NTF are authorized to purchase Oxilto. The FDA says the drug will be delivered to healthcare facilities and will be administered only by healthcare providers for COVID-19 patients. The other two molnupiravir brands that have earlier been granted EUAs are Molnars and Molnaflu. Now, 4 out of 5 Filipino adults are willing to get their booster shots for COVID-19. That's according to the latest survey conducted by the social weather stations last December 12 to 16. Survey results show that about 80% of Filipino adults are okay with getting their booster dose, 7% are unwilling, while 13% are undecided. 1,440 Filipinos aged 18 years old and above participated in this survey by the SWS. The Kyapu Church has finally reopened to devotees, but only fully vaccinated people are permitted to hear Mass inside the church. Justine Punsalang with the details.
The Kyapu Church has reopened its doors for physical masses following its almost 4-week closure since the start of the year. At 3:30 this morning, many devotees came for the first Mass. They expressed happiness now that they are not limited to attending the Mass via the church's live stream.
Masaya po dahil muli makapunta sa dambana ng pong Jesus Nazareno.
Kaya niyo sir na online na Mass?
Pwede rin naman, kaya lang gusto namin tatlo sa
Maginamang pakiramdam ko dahil nakakapasok na kami.
Following the IATF guidelines for Alert Level 3, only 30% of the church's capacity or 300 devotees can enter. Besides filling out contact tracing forms, there is now an additional requirement: vaccination cards as proof of being fully vaccinated. And the devotees don't mind this at all.
Tama lang yun para makapag-ingat ang tao. Mahirap kasi yung magkakadikit kayo, hindi mo alam, mahaawaan ka na.
Okay lang naman kasi tama na sa tao yan kung vaccine ka para hindi magkahawan.
For those who are not yet fully vaccinated, they can still physically attend the Mass but from outside the Kyapu church. Despite the social distancing markers, only half of the capacity is allowed. In Plaza Miranda, up to 235 people can attend the Mass, while up to 105 people may attend in Plaza San Juan. Should these places not be enough for the number of churchgoers, the parking space previously used by motorcycles along Quezon Boulevard can accommodate 50 devotees, while an additional 120 people can attend the Mass along Villalobos Street. For News 5, Justine Punsalang. We are One News.
A riding in tandem tossed a grenade in front of the Manila Arena in Santa Ana at about 6 p.m. yesterday. While the pin was removed from the grenade, it did not explode. Still, the scene caused a commotion among bystanders while a security guard attempted to chase down the riding in tandem. Authorities are now exploring possible motives, including a potential connection with a string of disappearances of some 20 cockfighters starting last year. But for now, police have yet to identify the grenade-tossing riders.
Yung duty guard din po dun sa arena po, hindi po nakamukaan kasi naka-crash helmet po sila. Tapos pagkatapos po, umalis na rin po sila.
After the Tokyo Olympic Games, the best athletes will gather in Beijing next week for the Winter Games. As for the Philippines, all eyes will be on 22-year-old skier Asa Miller, who is the country's lone bet. Gretchen Ho with the report.
No ice, no problem. Despite being a tropical country, the Philippines will compete in the upcoming Winter Olympic Games. Meet Asa Miller, the country's lone qualifier in Beijing.
Determination, hard work, and passion keep me going until I reach my goal for me and my country.
While many Filipino athletes chose to learn basketball or football, Asa grew up skiing. At 17, he already represented the country at the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games.
I began skiing when I was 1.5 years old, and I began ski racing when I was 8. Over time, my love for the sport grew. It really kicked off when I was 16, and I began ski racing for the Philippines.
Coming into his second Winter Olympics, Asa says he is more confident after learning a lot from his first Winter Games. Asa is set to see action in 2 events, the slalom and the giant slalom.
I'm very confident in my abilities and where my skiing is at the moment, and so I'm just hoping I can bring out the best of it on those competition days. I'm very proud, and I can't wait to show off and represent the Philippines at the Games.
For Asa, his biggest inspiration coming into the Games is Hydrin Diaz, who gave the Philippines its first Olympic gold through weightlifting.
While I don't have the same expectations for myself in competition, I definitely want to show my improvement and improve upon my placement.
With Asa being the lone Filipino in the entire Winter Games, young Filipino skiers have expressed their support for the 21-year-old.
We wish you all the very best. Thank you for breaking, the stereotype of our country not being able to compete in Winter Olympics because of our situation.
We wish you all the best and always know that you have our support, the whole country's support, and we know that you will do really well.
I certainly hope my journey serves as inspiration. I hope that with this Olympic Games appearance, that trajectory continues and that more people realize that they can ski for the Philippines
The Beijing Winter Olympic Games kicks off on February 4. Gretchen Ho, we are One News.
Here's a quick look at some of today's headlines. COMELEC Commissioner Rowena Guanzon reveals her vote to disqualify presidential aspirant Bongbong Marcos. But she also claims that a political influence is delaying the release of her division's resolution. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno claims there's a revenge plot between Marcos Jr. and Vice President Leni Robredo should any of them be elected president. And the Octa Research Group says a COVID resurgence is now unlikely in Metro Manila, but the Interior Department says it's not yet time to ease restrictions. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 10:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account now at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Jess De Los Santos. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe. Philippines, we are One News.